Do you ever wonder why people believe something even when they don't have strong proof? Or why it's so hard to change your mind, even when the facts are clear? Welcome to today's talk. I'm going to be your TED speaker, Julia Galef. And this version of the talk is simplified for English learners, so you can practice your listening and thinking at the same time. Let's start the story together and explore two powerful ways of thinking, the soldier mindset and the scout mindset. I want you to imagine something for a moment. Imagine that you are a soldier in a battle. Maybe you are a Roman soldier with a sword. Or maybe you are a medieval archer with a bow and arrows. Or maybe you are a Zulu warrior. It doesn't matter where or when. Some things are always the same. You feel a lot of adrenaline in your body, and you act very quickly. You do this because you want to protect yourself and your group, and you want to win against the enemy. Now, I want you to imagine that you are someone very different. A scout. A scout's job is not to fight or protect. A scout's job is to learn and understand. The scout walks ahead of the army to look at the land. They try to find problems or dangerous areas. Maybe the scout sees that there is a bridge that helps them cross a river. But more than anything, the scout wants to know what is really there. They want to see things clearly and correctly. In a real army, both the soldier and the scout are important. But you can also think of these two jobs as two ways of thinking, two mindsets. I'm going to talk about these two mindsets today. I believe that making good decisions and having good judgment is mostly about which mindset you are in. To show you how these mindsets work, I want to tell you a story from 19th century France. In 1894, officers in the French army found a piece of paper in a trash can. It didn't look important, and it was torn up. But when they put the pieces back together, they saw something big. They saw that someone in the army was giving military secrets to Germany. So, they started a big investigation. Soon they believed that one man was guilty. His name was Alfred Dreyfus. Dreyfus had a very good record. He had never done anything wrong before. He also had no reason to give secrets to another country. But Dreyfus was the only Jewish officer at his level in the army. At that time, many people in the French army didn't like Jewish people. They looked at the handwriting on the paper and compared it to Dreyfus's handwriting. They thought it was the same. But professional handwriting experts were not so sure. Still, the army officers believed Dreyfus was guilty of spying. They looked in his files, but didn't find anything. Instead of thinking he was innocent, they thought he was clever. They believed he had hidden all the proof before they looked. Next, they started to look at his past. They asked his teachers about him. The teachers said that Dreyfus studied foreign languages in school. The officers said this was a bad sign. Maybe he wanted to talk with other governments later. His teachers also said that he had a very good memory. The officers thought this was also suspicious. After all, a spy needs to remember many things. The army took Dreyfus to court. He was found guilty. Later, they brought him to a public square and tore off the symbols from his army uniform. They also broke his sword in front of everyone. This was called the degradation of Dreyfus. Then, they sent him to a place called Devil's Island. It was a small, empty island near South America. There, he lived alone and wrote many letters, trying to prove he was not guilty. But most people in France thought the case was finished. What is really interesting to me about this story is this. Why did the officers believe Dreyfus was guilty? Some people might think the officers wanted to hurt him on purpose. But historians do not believe that. The officers really thought the proof against Dreyfus was strong. That makes us ask, how can people believe something so strongly when there is not much proof? This is an example of something scientists call motivated reasoning. It means that our feelings, what we want, and what we are afraid of change the way we understand things. Some ideas feel like our friends, and we want them to win. Other ideas feel like our enemies, and we want to stop them. These ideas might sound simple, but they're powerful, and that's exactly why I'm sharing this in easy English. If you find this helpful, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends who are learning English too. Your support really helps us bring more simple TED content like this to you. Now let's go back to the soldier mindset and see how it affects our everyday thinking. This is why I call it the soldier mindset. Most of you have probably never put an innocent person in jail, but maybe you like sports or follow politics. If a referee says your team made a foul, you probably try to find reasons why the referee is wrong. But if the referee says the other team made a foul, you say, "Yes, that's right," and don't think too hard about it. Or maybe you read a study about a difficult topic like the death penalty. If you support the death penalty and the study says it doesn't work, you probably think the study is wrong. But if the study says the death penalty does work, then you think it's a good study. If you are against the death penalty, it works the same way, just the opposite. If you don't agree with the death penalty, it's the same thing. Our thinking is strongly affected, without us knowing it, by which side we want to win. And this happens everywhere. It changes how we think about our health, our relationships, how we vote, and what we think is fair or right. What scares me most about this kind of thinking, called motivated reasoning or soldier mindset, is that we don't even know we're doing it. We can believe we are being fair and honest, but we might still destroy an innocent person's life. Luckily for Dreyfus, his story didn't end there. This is Colonel Picquart. He was also a high-ranking officer in the French army. Like most people, he believed Dreyfus was guilty. He was also, like many in the army, a little bit anti-Semitic. But something changed. Picquart found out that someone was still spying for Germany even after Dreyfus was already in prison. He also found that another army officer's handwriting looked exactly like the one on the spy letter, much closer than Dreyfus's handwriting. He told his bosses about what he found, but they didn't seem to care. Some made up excuses to explain it, like, maybe there's a second spy who copied Dreyfus's handwriting and kept spying after Dreyfus was arrested, but Dreyfus is still guilty. Even with this pushback, Picquart didn't stop. After 10 years, he finally helped prove Dreyfus was not guilty. But for part of that time, Picquart himself was put in prison. His crime, being disloyal to the army. Some people think Picquart can't be the hero because he was anti-Semitic, and that's bad, and I agree. But I think what he did is even more impressive because of that. Picquart had the same bad beliefs and the same reasons to be unfair like the other officers. But still, he wanted to find the truth. That was more important to him than being right. That's why, for me, Picquart is a great example of what I call the scout mindset. The scout mindset means you don't try to make one side win. You try to see what's really true, even when it's hard, uncomfortable, or not what you want. I care a lot about this way of thinking. I've spent the last few years studying it and asking, why are some people able to look at the facts clearly and not just believe what they want to believe? The answer is about emotion. Just like the soldier mindset comes from feelings like fear or group loyalty, the scout mindset also comes from emotion, but different ones. Scouts are curious. They enjoy learning new things. They feel excited when something surprises them. They also care about honesty. They believe it's good to test your own beliefs. They don't think it's weak to change your mind. Most of all, scouts are calm inside. They don't feel like they have to be right to be a good person. So, if a scout thinks the death penalty works, but then sees new research showing it doesn't, they can say, "Oh, maybe I was wrong. That doesn't mean I'm stupid." Researchers, and also my own experience, have found that this kind of thinking helps people make better decisions. And it's not about how smart you are. These traits don't connect very much to IQ. They're about how you feel. There's a quote I love from Saint-Exupéry, who wrote The Little Prince. He said, "If you want to build a ship, don't just tell people to collect wood and give them tasks. Instead, teach them to dream about the big, endless sea." What that means is, if we want to be better thinkers, both as people and as a society, we don't just need to study logic, or debate, or statistics, even though those are useful. What we really need is to learn the scout mindset. We need to change how we feel. We need to feel proud, not embarrassed. When we see we might be wrong, we need to feel curious, not angry, when we hear something that doesn't match what we believe. So I want to leave you with this question. What do you want most? Do you want to protect your old beliefs? Or do you want to understand the world as clearly as possible? I hope this talk helped you think differently and also gave you some useful English. If you liked this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with other English learners. It really helps us grow and bring more TED content to you in simple English. Thanks for watching, and remember, stay curious and always be a scout. See you in the next video.